Folks, welcome to On the Court but First Coffee. My name is David George Smith. I have a very special episode. Joining me today is a very special guest, Jake Copestick from the Big Five Pod. Jake, how you doing today, my man?
Fantastic. Hard to be doing any better, but we have a beautiful day out here, not too cold, and we got three Big Five games going on today. So thank you for having me, man.
Speak for yourself. You didn't fly in from Florida, so it's freezing right now. Anything below 60 is a nightmare for me, but we're not here for the weather. We're here to talk about some hoops. The Big Five Classic, I know about it. I don't think I can do it justice. You live and breathe Big Five basketball, Philadelphia college basketball. So just talk to me about, today's your Super Bowl pretty much. So just talk to me about what it means, the Big Five for the city of Philadelphia, the area, and just the fan base.
Yeah, so even in a pro sports town as we stand here, David, and you look at Citizens Bank Park, you look at the link, we have Xfinity Mobile Arena behind us. Even in a pro sports town, the Big Five is so uniquely woven into the fabric of the sports scene in the city. And it's city bragging rights for years. It's going under a transition to now be here at Xfinity Mobile Arena, not be at the Palestra. But it just means so much as far as bragging rights go. And look, this is a great football city. I think this is a terrific, as good as anywhere basketball city in the country is, but to have something that's so unique to this area. And every other city, New York, Boston, DC, Chicago, they all envy this.
Yeah.
To have all the city teams play each other for bragging rights because people run away from it. They don't want to play this team. They don't want to play that team. It's so unique to this area that nobody runs from it here. Everybody plays each other here. You can't hide. You can't hide. You got to play everybody.
I love it.
It's so unique to the fabric of the city and a great basketball city. I wish it was at the Palestra. We'd have the great games, all the history. But, yeah, this is a tradition, one of the most storied traditions in college hoops that goes all the way back 70 years at this point.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. Got a lot of great teams. I love the fact that, like you said, that teams are just stepping up and taking the challenge. You got some smaller schools such as Drexel in the South, which would be the first game. Then you got St. Joe's and Temple for the second game. You got Villanova and Penn for the third. So just talk to me what you're looking at today. What's going to stand out to you? What are you expecting to see?
Yeah, we'll break down every game. We'll first start with the one at 2 o'clock, Drexel playing LaSalle. A bit of a storyline here between the two head coaches here. So Zach Spiker, about 20 years ago, maybe more at this point, he's a Morgantown, West Virginia native. He was on John Beilein's staff at West Virginia when they hosted Darius Nichols, the head coach of LaSalle, for his official visit before he became a Mountaineer. So the two of them have a long history. Darius Nichols is now in the Big Five coaching LaSalle. They're going to go at it today for the first time. I'm thinking Drexel is going to win in a close one here. The rebounding is going to be huge. LaSalle wants to, their whole mantra is rebound that, John. It's been a couple of Big Five games. Maybe they haven't done that. They did Saturday against Penn when I was there last week. And although I love the physicality that they have, we got to see who's healthy with them. You're not going to know that until we go with it, see who's warming up for them. But I think Drexel has the bodies here to not get killed on the glass with Garfield Turner, the transfer Martin De La Porterie, William Garcia Adsden, another really big guy, and Ralph Akuta. They have the bodies to match up with them, I think. And although maybe it's been a struggle for them offensively at times this year, I do think Drexel Drexel grinds games out much to the style, what's LaSalle wants to have it as well. So I like Drexel in the first game. Second game, Temple and St. Joe's. This is the most played rivalry in the Big Five. Conflicting reports here. I see St. Joe's says this is the 162nd meeting. Temple says it's 166. I don't really know who to believe here. I think 162 is the number I see in record books, so we'll go with that. But anyway, the most played rivalry in the Big Five. Former A-10 foes here with Temple and St. Joe's. The stuff I like with both sides, guys who have really showed out. Temple, the Arkansas State transfer, Darian Ford has been great. Aiden Tobiason, tremendous improvement. Was a good player last year as he got reps under his belt. But, man, he's been so good on both ends for Temple this year. And you look at St. Joe's, and, hey, they've had times where Jaden Glover Toscano goes off and Deuce Jones goes off. Can the two of them, look, they're young guys. They are. Jaden Glover basically redshirted last year at St. John's, and Deuce Jones is only a true sophomore. So as the two of them grow together, I think they can be a real dangerous backcourt, but it's kind of been off and on with them. So if they can put together a good game, I think they can win this game. But defensively, I have concerns about both teams. Temple goes down to Disney World. They give up 90 points twice. St. Joe's has given up 90 points when they went to Virginia Tech, when they went out to Vegas to play UNLV. So I have concerns on both sides. So I have stuff I like and I don't like. I see offensive firepower for both teams. Defense, though, at times hasn't been what both teams would like it to be. So I'll take Temple in a very close one in the second game. And then championship game here. Two foes in Kevin Willard and Fran McCaffery, 11 meetings between the two of them. When Kevin Willard was at Iona and Fran McCaffery was at Siena, Fran McCaffrey never lost to Kevin Willard. It was 6-0 when they were there. And then you have Kevin Willard, 1-0 against Fran McCaffrey at Seton Hall. They only played once. And then they just went at each other a couple times in the Big Ten the last couple of years when Kevin Willard was at Maryland and Fran McCaffrey was at Iowa. Kevin Willard 3-1 against Fran McCaffrey when he was at Maryland, including 3 straight wins. So guys with a lot of history, and even on new teams with new rosters, they're going to know what each other want to do. Big thing that comes down to it, though, is rebounding. Villanova's got the best rebound in the country in Duke Brennan. Number 1 in offensive rebounding rate, number 2 in defensive rebounding rate. And in turn, Villanova is the best offensive rebounding team in the country because they have this guy.
Wow.
In the Temple game, he controlled the tempo with how many times he was getting fouled. He still grabbed 8 rebounds. Babatunde Dordola for Temple on Monday night. He fouled out in 12 minutes, trying to deal with Duke Brennan down low. 12 minutes because of Duke Brennan's activity. And I just saw Penn get beat on the glass pretty badly at LaSalle last week. Penn can't have that happen again or Villanova's going to run away with this. So you're not going to stop Duke Brennan on the grass. You can only hope to contain him. But if LaSalle gets beat on the glass like they did if Penn gets beat on the glass like they did against LaSalle last week, Villanova's going to run away with this. But 2 coaches with a lot of familiarity. Penn very good in their own right with Ethan Roberts and TJ Power. It's certainly no fluke they got here. I'm hoping it'll be a close championship game, but you got to look out for those boards because Duke Brennan, literally, there is not a better rebounder in the land than Duke Brennan.
I say this all the time. Yeah, rebounding will win you the basketball game. You beat a team on the glass, you win a basketball game. I think that's the case for most levels of basketball. Hey, you were talking about like coaches. One thing that I've noticed personally, and you follow the Big Five a little bit more than I do. Seems like teams like Nova and Temple, they're going through a lot of like different coaches, a lot of different personnel. From what you've seen, how has that sort of had an effect on these programs?
Yeah, I mean, you go from legends. You think about Temple, and even think about it at the turn of the century. Like you went from an absolute legend in John Chaney to another one in Fran Dunphy. Literally, the Big Five's most iconic figure, having played at LaSalle, coached at Penn, coached at Temple, and then coached at LaSalle, and now works there. To go to a guy in Aaron McKee who was his successor, unfortunately didn't work out, and now you go to Adam Fisher. Like, it's not easy. And then you look at Villanova even more so. Kyle Neptune with 1 year as a head coach under his belt, at Fordham, comes over and has to. It's so hard to follow in a guy's footsteps like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so used to, like, if you're Villanova and Jay Wright goes to 4 Final Fours, he wins 2 championships in 3 years, and in a 6-year span, the last 6 years of Jay Wright's career, 3 Final Fours and 2 championships. You can't replicate that. It's impossible to do so. So, Villanova hasn't made a tournament since Jay Wright retired. And then you look at Temple, and they haven't made a tournament since Fran Dunphy stepped down. So it's just so hard to follow in the footsteps of a legend. You now have a totally new landscape of college basketball with NIL and the transfer portal, and now you're going to have kids being paid directly from the institution. So there's so much happening at once besides the fact that you have to step in and you have to replace legendary figures, not just in the Big Five, but in college basketball.
It's insane. Yeah. I think, Neptune, I sort of gave him the benefit of the doubt that year, I think. But, should be some great basketball today. Floor is yours. If you have anything to plug, anything that you want to get out there, let the people know. Floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. Well, I'll plug my podcast at Big Five Pod on X, at Big Five Pod on Instagram as well. I also want to shout out Mid-Major Madness, who's going to be in the house today. My guy, Riley Frame, covering all the low and mid-majors. They don't cover the Big East because the Big East is not a mid-major, so there's no Villanova coverage, unfortunately, of Mid-Major Madness, but they cover the other 5 teams that are here today. But they do such a great job covering the low and mid-majors in college hoops. So shout out to the Mid-Major Madness guys as well. I'll have coverage for them in addition to the Big Five Pod and my stuff today. So going to be a great day of hoops. We're here real early. The first game doesn't start till 2 o'clock, and we're in the lot here at about 12:30. But yeah, great day of hoops. This is one of the most storied traditions of college basketball. This day should be a day for the Big Five every single year.
I agree.
To celebrate this tradition.
I agree. Busy day here at the Xfinity Mobile Arena too. So today they have the Big Five. Last night they had a Meek Mill concert, and then tomorrow LeBron's in town playing the Sixers. So, and then the Flyers play also at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So it's gonna be very busy, just as like we are. But today we're gonna enjoy some hoops. Jake, I want to thank you so much for joining
Thanks for
having coming on the show. We're gonna put all that information in the description. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you inside.
Yeah, that was a really cool experience this weekend. Very thankful that I got to be able to cover that. Very appreciative of the opportunity. Got to watch a lot of great basketball. I did do a lot of. I was involved in the some of the press conference. I did get a chance to interview Coach Donahue of St. Joe's. I got to interview some players from LaSalle as well. Bumped into Jared McCain. I don't have footage of that, unfortunately. Didn't want to. He was just there as a fan, so I didn't want to bother him on his day off. That was the night before the Laker game, so wished him good luck. Said he appreciates me. I don't know how much of that I should take with or without a grain of salt, but yeah, very cool experience. I did get to ask some Villanova players about just the experience of just witnessing Villanova alumni in the NBA, given the fact that over the past, I'd say, 5 years or so, we've had guys, maybe 5-7 years ago, where a lot of guys are coming from Villanova because for a while it was just Kyle Lowry as an alumni, that was the face of Villanova in pro basketball. But now we can name a whole bunch of guys that went pro and came from Villanova. So I did get a chance to interview Scoo and Duke Brennan as well. So I'll play that for you. But
just seeing just the presence of Villanova in the pros, you have Jalen Brunson, Dottie DiVincenzo, Mikal Bridges. What does that do for you guys as far as inspiration? Do you guys draw any inspiration from that? Look at that. What sort of impact does that have for you?
I'll answer it, but tons of motivation. We look up to those guys, playing in the NBA, and Villanova's, one of the closest spots to it. So being able to, push every day and look up to those guys, that's where we want to be and continue our careers and pushing the NBA. So, we look up to those guys a lot.
So Karen made a hoppy change there early in the first downs or something you'd work.
That is going to wrap it up. I do want to do, if you don't know about the Big Five in Philadelphia, research it. It's a great thing. No other city has something like this. It's really cool, especially, from, the area that I grew up in. Having this tradition is really cool. It's not something where, you look at it from an NCAA accolade standpoint. It's more so pride. It's pride on the line. It's, representing for school and the city of Philadelphia. And it happens every year. They were just recently added Drexel into it. Villanova taking it this year. St. Joe is winning it the past 2 years. They got a win over Temple. Villanova got the win over University of Pennsylvania or Penn. St. Joe's winning over Temple, and then LaSalle winning over Drexel. So it's a lot of good stuff. If you follow me on Instagram, my thingy is right there, D Smith Basketball. I got a lot of sound bites, some clips from that. Definitely check that out. I will play this interview from Villanova, the Villanova press conference after they won the Big Five. So that'll happen now. And yeah, so great experience, just an overall experience. Shout out to the Big Five. Shout out to Big Five podcast as well. Put their stuff in the description. Shout out to Jake for coming on the show. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I want to get into just the LeBron's performance over the weekend. Then I actually had the privilege of attending my first time seeing LeBron play live, so I do want to talk about that tomorrow morning. So we'll be getting into that. I want to talk about OKC and everything that's been going on there. Michigan, how dominant they've been at the time that I'm recording this, actually on Tuesday night. I know it's not in the morning, which is crazy. It is pre-recorded. I've been thinking about doing also maybe switching it to like a lunch episode, something in the title involving lunch, because I know that I've been slacking as far as getting uploads early. I'm not a morning person, folks. Don't force me to be. I know you're not, and I appreciate you tuning in. But let me know your thoughts about that. Actually, some people enjoy, listening to a podcast on their morning commute. Others don't mind when you show up. Others don't mind when it's uploaded. It could be uploaded in the afternoon, could be uploaded at night. Floridians, we always upload it at midnight. That's just how it's scheduled. And that'll be also dropping as well. So make sure you check out the new episode. We're going to be talking about if you're a Philadelphia sports fan, we'll be talking about everything going on there. Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, a lot of stuff going on there. Kyle Schwarber getting a new contract for the Phillies. Joel Embiid sort of looking a little rocky. The Eagles, whatever the heck they got going on, that was a terrible loss on Monday Night Football. So we're talking about a lot of stuff on there, but I am going to wrap it up here. What a fun weekend of basketball that was. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one.